guys, Mad Scientist 7890 here, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip-hop enthusiast, and this is my edition of...
Copper drop for May, motherfucker, 2012, bitches.
Alright, so here we go. You know how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'm going to start off with the drops, the albums that are not worth picking up. Some of them are free downloads, some of them are not, but we'll get to that when we get there. First, the drop, Murda Mook, Street Smart. It is not street smart to pick this up, honestly. You know what, the one thing I did not like about this is that he's pretty much just playing off the same role as all the other guys that are doing kind of that swag rap type stuff. But he does a little bit more like, I mean, he has Murda in his name, so he talks a little bit more about killing than swag. But overall, this wasn't a great project. It was a free download, but it was alright, I guess. Next, we got Ice Burgandy's Progress Involves Risk, Unfortunately. This started out like I thought this could have been a good free download for the cops, but there was a couple of tracks on here I liked and I would listen to more than twice, but the overall longevity of this album, or this mixtape, once it gets down to the later tracks, I didn't care for. Next we got, and by the way, some of these albums and mixtapes are basically, some of them are from last month, most of them are from this month, but some of them I just caught up on. So I think this one is from last month, I believe. It's Murphy Lee and Mr. Wintertime, I'm Cold. The only reason I reviewed this is because, you know, I'm from St. Louis and I listen to a lot of St. Louis hip hop. You know, I haven't really cared for Murphy Lee since he was since he was with the St. Lunatics here in St. Louis, or a lot of Nelly's recent stuff either. So this was just okay. I mean, if you're a St. Louis fan, I'm sure a lot of you guys will pick it up, but it was okay. Next we got on the drops, David Banner's Sex, Drugs, and Video Games. I don't know about this. I like David Banner to some degree, but I don't know. I think this, I'm not quite sure if this was the mixtape that he was releasing that you could donate as much as you wanted, but it was like it was free or something. I don't remember how the hell it was supposed to be, but this just had a lot of just bangers and a lot of guest features. I think this was that album where you could just donate whatever you wanted, or you could download it for free. But it just had a bunch of, you know, features and just kind of just bangers that were just kind of just, I don't know. I didn't really care for the overall sound. There was a couple of tracks that I probably listened to more than once, but unless you're a David Banner fan, don't pick that up. The last thing here that I actually just listened to before I did this was actually Gucci Mane, I'm Up. You know, I'm gonna give Gucci Mane some credit here for this. He is pretty much just straight running just a train all over the mixtape game. He puts out like 2 or 3 or 4 mixtapes a year, like it's nuts. And they're all basically the same type style mixtape. They're all party type bangers. If this was playing at a party, I'd be okay with it. I mean, I really wouldn't mind that much, but other than that, I mean, you know, it is Gucci Mane. If you like Gucci Mane, you can pick it up, but I wouldn't say for a classic listener of hip-hop, this is probably something that you wouldn't really like. Next, Meek Mill, Dreamchasers 2. Once Meek Mill kind of hit that really, you know, high level up, you know, with Maybach Music Group, with Rick Ross and those guys, I almost got the feeling that he kind of stopped trying to produce solid hip-hop music. I think this project here was kind of just thrown together just to get it out there, just another thing to get out there. There's a couple of, like I said, bangers. That's about it. Next, another thing that really disappointed me, because I was a really huge fan, and kind of he's fell off. I guess his quality of music and over the last probably 4 or 5 years, and that's 50 Cent. 50 Cent's The Lost Tapes. I didn't really care for the beat selection on this. Like a lot, DJ Drama I think did all the beats on this, and I really didn't care for the hooks. Like I think 50's a pretty good rapper, but overall, I just didn't care. I didn't care for the hooks and the beats on this really. Next, and something I was looking forward to after I heard this guy I'm going to say here in a minute. Last year, some of his stuff from last year, he dropped a mixtape. His name's Hi-Rez. And this is the mixtape is The Window. It's I think it's worth a free download, but I put it on the drops because I was so disappointed it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But Hi-Rez is a white guy, you know, and I believe he's Jewish as well, so he's got that double stereotype there. But you know, he's not a bad rapper, and he kind of reminds me at times of like Machine Gun Kelly, and you know, guys like that, and kind of like the party white boy type rap. But I don't know, I just didn't feel it on this one. I really didn't care for it. And then finally, should be, you know, it is actually a big surprise to me as well because I really liked this guy's first album, but this just kind of failed to me because the first album, the reason I liked it was because it was so catchy and it had good songs. And what I'm talking about here is B.o.B's Strange Clouds. You know, I really like B.o.B's first album, whatever, The Adventures of Bobby Ray or whatever it's called. Some of the just really one of the most catchy hip hop albums I think I might have ever heard. You just hear the choruses, you just go over and over and over in your head. This I didn't feel that. There was a couple of tracks on here where I felt like maybe one or two were really catchy and I maybe listened to again, but overall I thought this was kind of just not that great of a project from B.o.B. He's not a bad rapper, and he usually makes really good songs, almost pop influence type songs, but that is what it is there. So all right, so finally here with the Cop, you know, quite possibly one of the best months for hip hop in a while. Like just give yourself a round of applause there. You know, all the great hip hop albums that came out this month. I've been out of town for the last like week and a half. I went to Indiana, then I went to Wisconsin and Michigan, and then back to St. Louis. Gave me a lot of time on you know, riding buses to listen to a lot of this music, and really for the month of May, pretty much just really just pay attention to a lot of stuff. And this month produced some of the best stuff I've heard all year, and some of the best stuff even in the last couple of years. So we're gonna get right down to it here. The Cops. Make sure like I said, I'll let you know of mixtapes or what are album, what's free, what's not. Definitely check out. The first thing I'm gonna get in here too, most of it's free mixtape stuff. JD Era, No Handouts. This I believe came out last month, and I finally finished listening to it. It's leaning towards like, you know, like the Drake kind of Young Money kind of sound. I feel, but it's got some really catchy songs on it, and had some notable features on it, and overall just the good songs outweighed the bad songs. So I definitely say if you like kind of like Drake or something like that with a little bit more rapping, I think this would be something you would definitely check out. This next thing I checked out, I actually downloaded last month, and I listened to it this month because I kept putting it off. Because I just was like, yeah, whatever. The cover of the mixtape looked cool. It looked kind of just like something that I figured was gonna suck, but I actually really liked it and had some really catchy songs. It's actually G.U.N.S, and it's an acronym for Goons United by the New School, and it's Overtime is the name of the mixtape, and it's a concept mixtape, kind of concept album mixtape, where everything involves like sports. There's like a track called like hockey. There's a track called soccer. There's a track called halftime, I believe. Statistics. Sammy Sosa is one of the catchiest songs I've heard all of this year, and I think it's just worth checking out just how catchy it was, and it kind of surprised me. Don't get me wrong, it's not an amazing album or mixtape, but it was really catchy. It kind of reminded me of like old school Boys in the Hood, like with Jeezy and Jody Breeze and a lot of those guys when they first came out. It kind of reminds me of that. It's a group of guys getting together and kind of making some interesting, catchy stuff. This next album is actually on here for one specific reason. I wouldn't say just listen to it because it's, you know, a good album. I'm dubbing this album right here the party album or party mixtape of the year. If you're at a party, hanging out, hanging with friends, doing the party deal of the young adults these days, what we do, you throw this album on, and that's Travis Porter's From Day One. just track after track is just about booty popping and dancing, and the beats are good, and a lot of the hooks are really good, and the overall rapping is but it's really catchy, and it's a party mixtape type deal, and I really liked it in that aspect that if I was at a party and this whole thing played from track 1 to the last track, I would be fine. I wouldn't even switch it. It's got a lot of like booty popping type tracks. Next, getting into a couple of other things here that are they're hip hop related albums, but they're kind of in a different kind of. They're not really any rapping on either of these. The first one was Blockhead's Interlude After Midnight, and this is just kind of a instrumental. Pretty good stuff here. If you like instrumental, good instrumental that's not real bassy, it's just kind of just got an interesting experimental sound, you might like this. And then Santigold, Master of Make Believe. I've never heard Santigold until now, and I've heard of her, but I've never heard any of her music. If you like MIA, I'm really not a huge fan of MIA. I kind of just don't care for her. She has some interesting production, but other than that, I don't really care for her that much. But Santigold, this actually had some really catchy tracks on it, and I definitely say it's worth checking out. If you like MIA, I actually really liked this. If MIA did stuff like a little bit more stuff like this, I'd probably like her a little bit more. Next we got Jim Jones, Vampire Life 2. Man, Jim Jones is one of those guys, like just his voice on like songs, like to me just like he comes off like one of those guys, and I hate using this stereotypical phrase, but like swagger, like swag. He comes off just like whenever he just speaks, like he just is just like just the coolest fucking dude in just all of the room. And that's the way a lot of these tracks come off. Like they're just so like cool, like just cool tracks. Like it's not like they're amazing or anything, but they're good. And there's some couple standout tracks on here that I really liked. And he kind of does some poppier type stuff to kind of get more of the mainstream buzz, but he has, you know, those diplomat type tracks on here too. So I've always liked Jim Jones, and I like this. This is a free download. Definitely check that out. Casual, he still think he raw. I love Casual as an MC with the whole hieroglyphics family and the stuff that he does here. I don't know. This is just one of those things. If you like hieroglyphics and you really like just dope lyrics, and the production is kind of it's just kind of like that same hieroglyphics type production. But if you're a fan of that, you're gonna like this. So I definitely say check that out. Statik Salektah and Termanology's 19. Well, I guess as a group they go by 1982, and this is actually an album called 2012. I actually like this more than the one they came out with, I believe, last year. This has a lot of soul production type stuff on it. I don't know. A lot of people have really been hating on Statik Salektah's production. I don't know why. I like a lot of Statik Salektah's production. I think that he does so much. I think it's almost the point he does so much. He has so much material out, and he's out with a lot of I don't like hopping MCs, like booming MCs, Rex and different guys like that, and Action Bronson and stuff like that. And you know his just production is heard a lot, and his sound is heard a lot. Maybe that's why people are kind of just getting tired of it already. But I like that. Next, I Self Devine, the sound of low class Amerika. I've always been a fan of the Rhymesayers crew. You know, Atmosphere, Brother Ali, ASAP Rock, not ASAP Rocky. For those of you out there who do not know anything about underground hip hop, I'm not talking about ASAP Rocky. I'm talking about ASAP Rock, who is an outstanding MC. He's actually dropping an album in June. I can't wait to hear that. But yeah, this is just. I think he came out with a track, something about shoes, like new shoe smell or some shit, and it was kind of eh. And then he came out with another track, something like, I think it's called like Exist to Remain or some shit, and it was really good. And the rest of the album was a really solid project. But if you like the Rhymesayers kind of sound, and you like, you know, I Self Devine as an MC, you know, you'll definitely like this. All right, so now we're getting into the next stuff here, the next tier of the stuff here that I would consider some of the best stuff I've heard all year. Now I'm deeming this next mixtape that I'm going to talk about here the catchiest hip-hop album mixtape I've heard in a long time. I straight messed with this mixtape a lot when I was on my trip to Wisconsin and Michigan, 10-hour, 12-hour, 15-hour bus rides and stuff. I bumped this in my, with my headphones over and over and over again, and that's Cam Meekins' Lamp City, or I guess it's like a happy face, a skewed face, and then like a sad face. I don't know. That's also what it is. Mixtape. Cam Meekins, a guy, I guess he was making a lot of beats on YouTube, then he doing a lot of different other stuff. He had a lot of popularity on YouTube, and then he put this mixtape out. This is awesome. He wants to lean away from that frat type Asher Roth kind of college rap. He says that a lot in this mixtape. And his rapping style is pretty solid. He's not the greatest MC, but he produces all his stuff and he knows what he wants to do, and it's kind of like when you get with other producers and they make, if you have 7 or 6 different producers and they make you different beats, sometimes you don't always connect, but when you're making your own beats, you know the shit you want. That's how I felt like this was. He knew on every track, he knew in his mind probably like, okay, this is what I want on this, this is how I'm going to do the hook on this is the beat I want, and everything came together really, really, really well. And not only is the stuff catchy, but it's good. Like a lot of the lyrics are really good and funny and witty. The hooks are great. The beats are not overbearing. They're not bad, but they're not amazing. There is a couple of good beats. I don't know. I like this right here. This mixtape is one of, like I said, the most entertaining and enjoyable listens I've had all year. So I mean, if you're into just some fun, just good, hip hop music, I'm almost positive you probably like this. If you like Asher Roth, I know he says he's not a college type rapper, but that's how some of this stuff comes off, like Asher Roth. So it's pretty good there. Next, Strange Music is straight just killing it. This year and last year, just killing it with a lot of guys and a lot of things they're doing. Just Krizz Kaliko dropped Kickin and Screamin. I never heard Krizz Kaliko's first album until actually this came out, and then I heard this, and then I downloaded his other album. But this is up and away farther better than his first album, I think. This is, I think, the best thing Strange Music has put out in the last 2 years. I think this is better than Tech Nine's album that came out last year, like 6s and 7s. I like this more than that. Another thing with this, really, really catchy songs, the hooks, the beats, they're really just good to listen to. Like, I didn't get bored. Like, I wasn't bored with any of this stuff. And it wasn't overbearing like Strange Music, where it's about really depressed. It's a lot like really, really depressing stuff and killing yourself and killing other people and shit like that. It was mostly fun throughout, and it had a couple of depressing, sad type tracks. But overall, this shit was pretty good, and I would definitely say pick that up. Next, we get into LP, Cancer for Cure. I'd heard LP's albums before, and gonna be honest, I think a lot of people are gonna shit all over this. Even though I have this on the cops, I don't really like LP that much. I don't really like LP. I think his production's pretty good. I don't really like LP as an MC. I don't know why. I just don't like him as an MC. I don't know if it's his voice or whatever it is. But the production for this, I thought was great. But most of the tracks, I just kind of felt myself just being annoyed with LP's MCing. I don't know why. I just didn't. But the production alone, LP is a fantastic producer, and I think this was so highly just like hyped that everyone thought this was going to be amazing. And I didn't think it was amazing, but I still think it's worth checking out, and that's why I have it on the cops. And the reason I have it up here this high is because next, which I would consider a top 5 album this year so far, it's Killer Mike and LP rap music. When you get a guy like LP who makes the production he makes, and you get a guy like Killer Mike who is a fabulous MC, you put them together, you make some fucking magic. This was fantastic. I think I almost liked every track on this. Really, really liked a lot of this. Killer Mike is as of from last year and this year, stuff he's been putting out is just becoming one of my favorite MCs. And I really, really like this. The only thing I can say is describe it as if you know what LP's beats sound like and you know what Killer Mike's flow and rhymes are like, put those together and that's what you get on this. There's really not much you can explain. You just have to listen to this. definitely check this out. Next, 2 other albums that I would consider a top 5, top 10 albums of the year. I'm going to do a top 10 albums of half the year. I know it kind of spoils it for the end of the year, but I think half the year, 6 months, there's enough good shit out right now that I can do that. So we'll do that. But there's these next 2. Ab-Soul, hashtag System Control, or just System Control. This was awesome. This was awesome. This is good. You know, Black Hippie right now is killing the game. Is really just killing it right now. Everything that I've heard out of all 4 members, if you guys out there know who Black Hippie is, it's Kendrick Lamar, Ab-Soul, J-Rock, and Schoolboy Q. I almost like everything these guys do, even their individual projects. Like I didn't think Schoolboy Q's Habits and Contradictions was amazing, but I liked it. This I thought was fantastic. This is a top 10 album considerably. Just had so much variety on here. Really interesting variety, and it's just one of those things that if you haven't listened to much of any TDE, affiliated stuff or any Black Hippie stuff, I definitely would say this, and I know a lot of people would not agree, or some may. I think this is up there with Section 80 from last year with Kendrick Lamar. I think it's that good, and it's just like I think I said in another video. I can't really pick out 1 or 2 songs on Kendrick Lamar's Section 80 that I can just sit and just listen to those 1 or 2 tracks. I have to listen to the first song all the way to the last song, because it's almost like an ongoing like TV show. Like it just each one episode, like it's almost like that. That's how this came off. Like each thing came off so different. Each song came off so different. And it's very interesting and very experimental and production, and Ab-Soul is a great lyricist on this. So I mean, I would definitely say check this out. Definitely check this out. And next, when I heard that these 2 were making an album together, I instantly just got a boner. And if you know what that means in my world, that's a pretty awesome thing. Wow, that came off really gay. OC and Apollo Brown's Trophies. I first heard OC last year when I really started dabbling into underground hip-hop a lot. I listened to an album he had called Word Life. The reason I listened to it originally is because it was Word Life. I'm a wrestling fan. Word Life was the phrase John Cena always used, and as cheesy as that sounds, that is the original reason why I checked it out, and I was absolutely thrilled with how good that album was. And then Apollo Brown, I've been on Apollo Brown's junk for the last 2 years. I love Apollo Brown's production on almost everything I hear. And as an MC of OC, I absolutely love it. And then I heard these 2 working together. I was like, damn, this is going to be great. And it definitely lived up to the hype. OC, just some awesome. You know what? I wish I could come on here and like just like blurt out lines from some of these albums and mixtapes, but I listen to so much hip hop and my brain is like fried with so much just lyrics and things. I just couldn't tell you, but I remember being so many different lines from this that I love. And if you really love an old school underground sound with a really soulful just production, you're gonna like this. So that's that right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the cop right there. Hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Like I said, I'm gonna continue to do them. I love doing them. If you're a hip hop fan, definitely check out the ones I said cop. Yeah, and I mean support good hip hop. That's one thing I always say about when I do these videos. Every time I do one is, I do these because I want people to buy the good shit and not waste their money on the shit that's not worth buying. Most of the stuff I said on cop, other than the free stuff, is worth putting your money on. Is worth buying and worth the listen. It's more gratifying to buy the stuff than if you waste your money. That's the one reason I started doing this is and people ask me about when I do hip hop videos, is I hate buying an album and then listening to it and just being really shitty and I wasted $15. So if you guys watch my videos and you know how it is, go buy some of these or download them on iTunes or whatever. Buy them on iTunes. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I am the Mad Scientist, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip hop enthusiast. I'm out of here. Deuces.